Hello my friends, and welcome to Paulina Art. Today I'm going to be painting this pretty Christmas angel. I wanted this painting to look very dreamy, and I wanted my Christmas angel to look like a playful child because it is Christmas after all. This is my own design. I'm going to link the pattern that you can download for free. When you're doing the background, keep in mind to do the outer part a little bit darker, because as you're going to see in the video, I had to adjust the background a little bit at the end. If you would like to see how I created this Christmas angel painting, stay with me and let's paint together. I am working on a 9x12 canvas that I have prepared last night with a coat of white gesso mixed with a drop of purple. Today I'm working with my folk art acrylic paint, but of course you can use any acrylic paint that you have at home. It's always a good idea to prep the canvas the night before. That way, the next day when you're going to paint, everything is really dry and you're not going to be lifting any of the background paint. I'm going to leave on the description box below all the colors that I use for this painting. With a soft mop brush, I'm going to start creating a nice soft halo effect. And I'm picking up some purple and trying to have very little on my brush. My brush is dry, by the way. And I'm going to start creating the soft halo effect. I just added just a little bit of water so my acrylic paint moves easier. I'm going to blend with a clean brush because I want all of this to be very, very soft and dreamy. And I'm going to do the same with some white. Just to create a soft bokeh effect. And I'm going to go back with my purple. And I'm going to keep doing this until I'm happy with the effect. I'm keeping this just on the sides of the painting because my Christmas angel is going to be in the center. Once we're happy with our background, we're going to let it dry. Okay, my friends, my background is dry because the layers of my background are very thin. Now I'm going to place my Christmas angel exactly where I want her. I want to make sure that there's enough room or equal on both sides and at the bottom and at the top. I want her to be basically in the center of the painting, and I'm going to put some painter's tape so my pattern doesn't move. And as you can see, at the bottom I gave you two options. If you don't want to paint the little angel's feet, just do another leaf and don't trace the feet. If you want to do the feet, which I am going to do in this painting, don't do this last leaf. So you have two options. I'm going to go ahead and trace my Christmas angel. Okay, my friends, my Christmas angel is on my canvas. The first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to paint the skin color, and you can mix any skin color by using white, yellow, blue, and red, and adding a little bit of brown if necessary. Now, because I'm using a limited palette today, I'm going to use purple instead of blue. For the skin color, I'm going to mix a soft peachy shade. You can paint your angel any color you want, really. If you want to make it lighter or darker, it's up to you. Now I'm going to pick up some white and some red, and this is very, very pink, as you can see. So I'm going to add some yellow and maybe a little drop of purple. And a good way to test the color, just by putting it on some paper. And I think that's a little dark, so I'm going to add more white. I really like the shade, but I want it a little bit lighter. And that's exactly the color that I'm looking for. If you want the skin lighter or more pink, you can add more white and a little bit more red. If you want it a little bit darker, you can add more purple or more brown. It's not difficult to create skin color. You just have to mix those basic shades. And I'm going to go ahead and paint the arm. I'm going to start painting all the areas that are the skin. And I'm using just a round brush because I'm not doing any detail work at the moment. And again, if this is not the color you like or you want it when you see it on the canvas, you can always adjust. But I like this color. I'm going to stay with this. The less amount of colors that you use to mix a skin shade, the better, because then you can recreate it much easier. And I decided I'm going to do the feet, so I'm going to go ahead and paint them too. We're going to let the skin shades dry on the time being, and I'm going to paint the dress. And what color are we going to make it? I'm going to paint the top green because the bow is going to be red and I want it to pop. So I'm going to use my green color. And this is the first layer, so don't worry. Acrylic painting requires many layers of colors. Okay, we're going to let this be for now. We're just establishing our colors at the moment. Let's start painting the poinsettia leaves that create her skirt. For today's tutorial, I'm using my new set of angled brushes from Plaid One Stroke brushes. And this is going to give me a good idea how they work. I'm going to be doing a review of acrylic brushes on the new year. So I'm going to use these ones today. For the poinsettia leaves, I'm going to be use a little bit of this folk art floating medium to help with the blending. And I'm going to be using the medium size angle brush. It says 5/8 in here. And I'm going to decide which ones are going to be my green leaves. And they are going to be all the bottom ones here. These ones are going to be purple, and all the top ones are going to be red. For my green ones, I'm going to pick up white and green. And I'm going to blend these two colors. And I've added more green and a little bit of yellow on the toe. And I'm going to start doing all my bottom leaves with the one stroke or double load method, which basically we just press the brush and we wiggle it a little bit. Okay, and then I'm going to do the other side of the leaf. And look how beautiful that looks. And I'm going to go ahead and do all my bottom leaves like that. Every time I paint, I load my brush, just like I showed you. And don't be afraid to give your brush lots of movement. Poinsettia leaves have a lot of movement. And I'm going to leave these two for now because I want to go back and give more shade to the feet. But I can do the other ones. And I always start with the bottom, working myself up, and with the ones that look like they're far behind. So far, I really like this brush. These ones are going to be green. Maybe this one I'm going to do green. Let's do this one. I'm going to add more definition now to the arms and the feet. If you're not doing the feet, don't worry about it if you are doing a leaf in here. And for that, I'm going to be using the smaller angle brush from the set. This one says 3/8, I believe. For the definition of the body, because I'm using this light peachy, I have some blending gel at the heel and some purple at the toe of my brush. If you're doing a darker skin shade, you can use brown. Now with this, I'm going to use a technique that is called floating. And it's very good to add shading and lighting. So I'm going to add a little bit of shading, some shading in this side of the leg. And in here. And if it's too much, you can always clean up a little bit. And I'm going to add some shading on the foot here. And on the side of the foot. And that's starting to look really nice. I'm going to do the same on this one. Okay, we're going to leave the feet like that for now. And we're going to do the arms. And we're going to add the same shading using the same floating technique. And I'm going to do the darkness at the bottom of the arm. So I'm going to start here with the shoulder. Make sure you have lots of floating medium so it blends for you. And a little bit around here where the fingers will be. And again, if it's too much, just clean it up with a clean brush. And if it's not perfect, it doesn't matter. This is just to create an illusion. And I'm going to add a little bit on the elbow here. We're going to be using this same technique to do the wings. It is very easy once you get used to it. Okay, we're going to do the bottom of this arm now. Going to add the elbow. And again, some in here to create the illusion of the shades in the fingers. While this dries, we can add a second coat of green on the clothes. And if you want the green to be really dark, you can add some green. I added a little bit of green in here so it's not super dark. And I'm stopping right on line with the shoulders because the hair is going to be coming down. And I'm cleaning a little bit where I went over. Because my bow is going to be red, I don't want any dark color on it. Once the feet and the arms are dry, totally dry, we're going to go back and add some highlight with a small angle brush. This is going to be just like the purple, but instead of purple, I have white. And I'm going to add a little bit of highlight on the heel. On the leg coming down, a little bit in here, and on this side. And the same way, I'm going to add highlight on the top of the hand and arm. And we can add a little highlight in here on the elbow. And this way, our Christmas angel starts taking a lot of dimension. I'm going to move to my small angle brush to the smaller leaves that are peeking on the side. And for that, I'm going to use my purple and white. I have the white on the toe of my brush and the purple at the heel. And I'm going to start doing the ones that are behind. And now I'm back to my medium size brush to add the larger purple petals. When you're painting the petals or leaves of the poinsettia, make sure they are overlapped totally and you don't see any gaps in between. Okay, my friends, I'm done with the purple. You can add more purple. You can paint any way you want, but I'm going to do all these ones with red and white. I now have the white at the toe and the red at the heel. And I'm going to paint them exactly as I did the other ones, starting with the bottom ones and overlapping the previous ones. Be careful not to put your hand on the wet paint. I just did that. So you can put your little finger on a dry part of your canvas to steady your hand. Okay, let's go ahead and paint the bow. I'm using a round brush and I'm just going to paint it red. I'm going to paint the inside, the fold of the bow in purple. Some of the folds of the bow as well. We're going to leave it for now. Let's paint the hair of our Christmas angel. You can do the hair any color you want. It can be brown, blonde. I'm going to paint mine a little bit like a redhead. So the main thing is to start with a base color, with a dark base color. Darker than the color you really want. So I'm mixing some brown with red to create this nice base color. If you want your Christmas fairy to be blonde, just start with brown. And if you want a dark hair, you could start with a mixture of purple and brown. Okay, so I'm just gonna do the hair like very easy like this. And I left a couple of the berries that are gonna be on her hair on the side, so I know where I'm going to paint my berries. And your brush strokes should follow the hair, the movement of the hair, but we're not going to worry too much at this point. And she's running and playing, so we want the hair to have some movement. And if you're not sure how the hair goes, refer to the pattern. Okay, my friends, we have to let this dry. If you haven't taken a break yet, this is the time to take a break. We have to wait for the hair to dry and the bow to dry before we can continue. Okay, while the hair dries, it's just about dry, and my bow is dry, I'm going to add a little bit of pink just to give the bow more dimension. We can blend it a little bit too, so it's not so harsh. I'm going to add some red around here. Just finishing up the bow. Let's go back to the hair. Now we want to mix a lighter version of our base color. If your Christmas angel is going to be blonde, your base was brown, and you want to mix some yellow with white and maybe a little bit of brown to create the highlights. If the hair was dark, you can add some brown with yellow and white as well, maybe a darker version, or you can add some purple with white. In my case, because I want her to be more of a mischievous redhead angel, for my highlights I have red, yellow, white, very little white and brown to create this lighter coppery color. And I'm going to start adding the highlights on the top and the side of the hair. I'm using a small round brush. And I'm adding some movement to the hair. And I have mixed yet a lighter color with yellow, white, and a little bit of red. The key for the highlights is to use the same colors you use for the base, but lightening the color, making the color a little bit lighter. And with a fine liner brush, I'm going to add the final highlights. And I can even add a lighter shade. The lighter the shade, the less you want to add. This one just has white with a touch of yellow and a touch of red. I'm going to add a little bit of red with yellow in some areas, just to emphasize the reddish color of the hair. And this is what you do no matter what color of hair you choose. You just play with the same colors, making them lighter and darker, just to add the dimension of the hair. We're going to add now the hairpiece, and I have mixed white with yellow and green to create a pale green. And I'm going to start dabbing this here, and this comes down a little bit, so this is the middle of the head. I'm going to make it a little bit lower, and then I'm going to bring it up here. I'm just dabbing with my brush. I have some dark green on my small angle brush, and I'm going to add a few small leaves in here. Just by pressing my brush and adding a little bit of movement. With a Q-tip, I'm going to add some white dots. These are going to be the berries, but I have to start with a white base so they show. We're going to let all of this dry. Okay, my friends, our painting is just about done. What we're going to do now is we are going to do the wings. And for the wings, I'm going to move to the medium angle brush from the set. I have some floating medium. Going to make sure the brush is covered and there's no excess. I have white on the tip of my brush. I want the white just on the tip. And I'm going to start creating the wings. The wings come from pretty much from the center of the bow and they go up. So I'm going to start creating the effect of feathers very, very lightly. Pick up more white if you're running out of white. We're going to do the same on the other side. We can touch up the bow if we went over the bow. Like I did. With the other side of our Q-tip, we're going to pick up some red. And I'm going to dab it on top of the white to create our red berries. Okay, my friends, so the painting is done, really, but I find there's too much light around my Christmas angel. So what I'm doing with my mop brush, I'm picking up more purple. I'm darkening the areas on the outer side of the Christmas angel, just to make the wings pop a little bit more and the angel. So this is good to know that you can fix a painting at any time. You can change anything you don't like at any time. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to continue darkening just a bit around the edges. I find these white spots are detracting from the angel, so I'm going to go ahead and darken this a little bit. You can leave yours the way you prefer, but I think this is going to look nicer this way. And the more you paint, the more you're going to realize that it doesn't matter if you make a mistake. You can always fix it at any time. Like in this case, I'm fixing my background because I find it's too light compared to my main subject. I still want to leave this area light, but the surrounding areas, I feel it's going to look better if it's darker. I still want that dreamy look, just darker. And I can do the sides of my canvas as well. Okay, my friends, our pretty Christmas angel is done, and I do like the background better this way with the darker around, because I feel this way the wings pop a little bit more. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something new. If you like this video, please give it a like, share with your friends, comment below, and subscribe to my channel if you don't want to miss any future content from me. If you would like to support this channel, you can do so with a coffee. I'm going to link my coffee page below. I hope you have a happy and safe Christmas, and let's hope the new year brings us new hope to the world. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you on the next one.